Yes, he's not the new boy any longer. 10 months in, how's it all been going? Welcome to Crunch the Week, Marvin Rees. You sort of looked a bit hangdog there as you turned round. Is that 10 months? Is that going from being this sort of fresh idealist to the guy that actually makes the decisions and sometimes isn't all that popular?
I don't know, it might be something to do with the rock-hard seat I'm on, as you got the nice, soft, cushy one. No, as I mentioned.
That's how it works, my show.
Oh, right, okay.
How has it been going?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, the job is thrilling, but undoubtedly it's brought many challenges, and we've been putting those into the public domain about our finances. Everyone knows about the settlements challenge we face.
But the finances have hit hard, haven't they? I mean, drastic. Really? I mentioned that to Asher Craig, which was on a couple of weeks ago. I didn't come into politics to make these kind of cuts, you know, and you were sort of on a ticket of diversity and equality to hit the kind of vulnerable organisations that you said you had to do. You had no choice. It must have broken your heart, didn't it?
It's very hard. It's very hard. But yeah, I mean, like I say, we've been open about it, and what we can do is try to do things as best we can.
Quick one-word answer. Colston Hall, should it change its name? In your view?
It depends on who you want to celebrate. I wouldn't celebrate. I wouldn't celebrate a slaver.
You'd like to change the name?
My ancestors are from slaves. I'm not a fan of it.
Let's talk Metro mayors for a second. Shall I explain this one, Marvin? Shall I go for this? Essentially, Bristol's got a Lord Mayor and an elected mayor, and we'll sort of a Metro Mayor, who will also be the Metro Mayor of South Gloucestershire and Bath and North East Somerset, who don't have mayors of their own, but have got leaders. North Somerset also have a leader, but won't have a Metro Mayor because they don't want one. But having said that, they'll still be involved in the West of England region, who will have a Metro Mayor, but they won't get any of the funds. I don't know why people find this confusing.
Well, the only thing is he won't be the Metro Mayor of North Somerset.
No,
so we're still in the local enterprise partnership area.
Exactly. So we're still talking. Right? Thanks for clearing that up.
That's okay.
Is this a sensible move or not? Come on.
My view, I've been clear from the start, I think government got it wrong. They shouldn't have said, here's another political position. They should have said, we want you to display a collection of behaviours, working collaboratively across boundaries around shared priorities. Come up with the political system and the culture that serves that, and we'll negotiate with you over that.
Yeah.
Instead of the investment opportunities that devolution offers, it became a discussion about a political position. It was
but the irony is, you guys are getting on famously now anyway, aren't you? The leaders of the four authorities. So
Tim's all right. Matt's all right. Tim Warren from Bath and Matthew Riddle from South Gloss. Yeah, it's going well. And actually with Nigel as well. We meet and we're rallying around a shared set of priorities. We've got to provide a good future.
So where's North Somerset fit into this? Weston-super-Mare and all of that? And
well, they're not in the combined authority area.
Are you talking still?
Oh yes. I mean, we shared. Look at the Portishead line that you talked about.
Yeah.
We have a shared interest with North Somerset.
Yeah. Everybody is fiercely proud of their own identities, aren't they? It's not the West of England region, is it? It's four very separate places, with each holding their own.
I think that's somewhat true, but to be honest, I think some of that is a local authority conversation. I mean, do people really say some of the things that are on offer about what people are saying? I don't know if people live that and are invested in that every day. I mean, identity in Bristol is not just about the geographical place. We have an international population, 92 languages.
But it's a world city, isn't it? Shouldn't it be Greater Bristol? Shouldn't that whole area be Greater Bristol?
Well, you're asking me to tread in the field of landmines here.
Absolutely. like Greater Manchester. Isn't that the only way that will really work?
I don't think that would work for Tim and Matthew.
No, but in reality for the region?
Well, I mean...
Yes, it would, yeah?
Listen, we're looking at...
We should have a Greater Bristol.
We are looking at how we brand the region, right? Yeah. So we've got the Northern Powerhouse, the Midlands Engine and so forth. We're looking at how we communicate what we are and our identity. Yeah. There have been historical challenges talking about the West of England. People say, what is that? Where
back
is
to the old Avon, all of that stuff.
Well, we're not trying to get back to the old Avon, but that's part of the fear.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not going to step on. I'm going to be straight with you. I'm not going to step on that territory because how we name this area is
you may not step on it. You've stepped across it. I think. People can read into that.
But I hear the suggestion from you that we should be called Greater Bristol.
No, I asked the question, and you said you've got these kids, a lot more of them, to Bordeaux, and that was a twin city, of course. It's celebrating its 70th year of twinning with Bristol, isn't that right?
So Bristol, we're celebrating this summer the 70th anniversary, and we were allowed to, as part of the Mayor's office, select 4 teams from the tournament to go and represent us in Bordeaux, and it was just an amazing opportunity.
Well, I have been extremely rude, haven't I? Because there they are sitting here, the 3 of them, and I haven't introduced them yet, have I? So let's start with Jada right up there, and you're from Millpond, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm from Millpond.
Okay, and then next to you we have got Ty Chandler. Hello, Ty. Ty.
Hello.
And where are you from? What school are you from?
May Park Primary School.
May Park, okay. And then we've got Archie Newman, who is from...
Headley Park.
And tell us about Bordeaux. What was it like? What did you get up to when you were there?
When we were in Bordeaux, we did many fun activities. We did climbing, and we also went to see Bordeaux Stadium.
And what was it like?
It was big.
Was it? Bigger
Yeah.
than Rovers? Bigger than
Massive.
City?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you two got on famous. You didn't know each other before you went, did you, at all?
No.
Ty and Archie. So how did you get on together then? You tell us, Ty, what happened.
Well, I reckon the main way we got to be friends is when at the Acre Park when I was really scared to do it, and then at the end he persuaded me to do it after lunch.
You were a bit worried about the height, were you? Was that it?
Yeah.
Or the water? Or what was it?
The height.
The whole
and then
thing.
in
I
the
don't blame
end
you.
he persuaded me to do it. He encouraged me, so that's how we got to be
Really?
friends.
How did you get him to do it in the end then?
Basically, I told him to close his eyes and
Yeah.
just do it. So he did.
Yeah.
And then at the end, he thought, that wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
And he liked it in the end.
And you've been mates ever since, haven't you?
Yeah.
Jada, what about you? What was the best part of Bordeaux for you?
Well, when we got to see the mayor,
Yeah.
and that was like really good experience for me. And when we went to see the water mirror, which was like flat surface, and there's lots of like water on it,
Yeah.
and we all like kicked off our shoes and went to play and then splashed everywhere. And, yeah.
And did you all get on so well together? I mean, it was a
Yeah.
trip when you were all sort of thrown together from different schools. How did you manage to get on? Did you all just make very good friends?
Yeah, we all like just got together,
Hmm.
talked a bit, and made very like good friends.
How did it compare to Bristol, do you think? What was the main difference?
Well, it was way cleaner.
Was it?
And the main difference was they were all speaking a different language.
I tell you what, is the mayor listening? He's got his litter campaign going. It was cleaner though, was it? Than
Yeah, it was
Bristol?
cleaner, and they were speaking different languages, so a different language, so it was really hard for us
What
to
language
understand.
did they speak?
French.
French. Yeah, no, trick question. And did you learn a little bit of French over there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We went to the school, didn't we? Arch?
Yeah, we went to the school and saw how French kids study.
Yeah.
And they had written down some questions and they tried pronouncing them in English and it was quite funny.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. What did you get out of it, Amy, when you watched them all together and mixing in and getting a different experience?
Sport, the power of sport is incredible, isn't it? You know, it can inculcate in values of respect, intolerance, and fair play. And you know, the thing for me was I took 20 young people, some of whom hadn't ever been out of the country before. For many it was, you know, the first passport that they had ever had. And just getting on a plane, just getting on and off of trams, just listening to another language. It was a real cultural experience, and I'm really grateful to the Mayor's Office and also to Quartet and our partners that enabled us to be able to fund the amazing trip, because I'm sure these guys will never forget it.
No, I bet they won't. And Community for Purpose, of Purpose rather, which is your charity and the thing that you set up and everything else, the idea was to give kids a chance, basically, isn't it? And kids who may be hungry or health problems or whatever it is, just give them an equal chance with everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, there's lots of disparity in Bristol. You know, 96.3% of kids in Clifton go on to higher and further education, whereas 13.2% of children do in Lawrence Weston. That's got nothing to do with ability. That's all about opportunity.
Yeah.
And so, you know, the kids in Clifton have to have a conversation with mum and dad if they don't want to go, whereas the kids in Lawrence Weston have to have a conversation about wanting and justifying the you know, the reason to go. So, you know, this is all about trying to level the playing field and just broaden horizons.
Yeah. This is a tricky question. See if you can answer that. What have you come back with? What do you think you've learned about yourselves that you didn't know before you went?
I've come back with a bit more like friendship. Because if we never went on this trip, I would have never met Ty.
Yeah. What about you, Ty?
I reckon it was when I built up my resilience for the Acre Park.
Yeah. You'll never forget that, will you, Jada?
Well, mine's like getting to know other people and doing other things and just like
Yeah.
staying at home and like, watching TV and things.
Well, I'm delighted to see you all. Thanks so much for bringing these brilliant people in with you. And
They are brilliant.
till the next time, thank you very much
Thank
indeed.
you.
Thank you. Are people getting the kind of leadership that they should be getting at the minute? This has been chaos, hasn't it? This election process from all of the parties, all of your leaders at one time or another have really mucked this up, haven't they?
But I think if you look at the way the polls have closed, that's because people are getting a coherent message from Jeremy. They know what he stands for.
As a man that you said lacked any sense of strategic direction or leadership, and that voters were baffled during the EU referendum campaign. He left them baffled. Those were your words, weren't they?
Well,
only a few months ago.
Certainly, well, a year ago.
Caps or not to cap, or is it absolute limits? That was all a little bit embarrassing and perhaps led a little bit to the surge in Labour, didn't it, when all of that happened?
It was and it wasn't, because I think the initial
Well, which
policy
was it?
was
It
very,
was
very
or it
brave. I think the initial policy was very, very brave. I think Theresa May was addressing, and the party were addressing, a demographic time bomb that we're going to have to face, which is how do we pay for elderly care?
Yeah, we accept all that,
yeah.
but not to have a cap in the manifesto, clearly not.
Yeah.
Don't do a Theresa May on me, because we know this is a case. Wasn't in the manifesto. 4 days later, it is there,
Yeah.
and who's to blame? Mr. Corbyn. It was all his fault for scaremongering.
Well, not so much for scaremongering, but it was.
That's exactly what she said. It was scaremongering.
It's a very, very brave decision to face the fact that we are going to have to face these costs at some point.
But we understand
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
what about the bit about the cap not being there, and then suddenly
Well, not
was
all
that
the
was that
details are in the
embarrassing for the rest?
manifesto.
Yeah.
Not all the details are in the manifesto.
Well, a cap's kind of important, isn't it?
And-
But when we talk about trust, you talk about the narrowing of the polls, Thangham Debonair, because of your manifesto?
I think that the manifesto, what I'm getting on the doorstep is people like the fact that we've introduced the concept of a national education
Yeah,
service.
and whose manifesto is it?
It's the Labour Party's manifesto, led by Jeremy Corbyn. No, it's a team effort.
So this is the manifesto of the Labour Party and Jeremy Corbyn taking things back to a very socialist time. And this is the man that you had no truck with. You felt you were overlooked for a job and taken down an alleyway and that.
I wasn't really overlooked, actually. That's not quite what happened.
You thought you'd been given the job and it turned out you hadn't. But why would you trust Jeremy Corbyn, of all people? You don't even like the man and his policies, do you?
You can work with people that you don't have to get along with.
He's your
friends.
leader. It's fair to say the Brexit thing has backfired big time with the Lib Dems, hasn't it? You know, that it was a one-issue campaign as far as you were concerned, and your vote, if you look at the polls, hasn't budged. If anything, it's fallen.
Well, your initial question was about leadership. Okay, so let's just pause for a second and reflect on leadership.
So we blame Tim Farron for that, do we?
Let's just pause for a second. And
Well, not
think
too
about-
long, because we're running out of time. But
Of course not. He called a referendum thinking, oh yes, you know, the polls are saying that we're going to win.
well,
That's
there's
absolutely
not
right.
too much of a history lesson. Let's
Okay.
keep it to the Lib Dems
All right.
and
then-
how you haven't
okay,
pushed
I'll come
things
back
on
to you.
through
I'll
Brexit.
come back to you. The reason why we're in such a mess is because of the inner machinations of the Tory party.
So why haven't the public en masse said, yeah, these are the guys who are fully against Brexit and are doing something about it and swarming back to the Liberal Democrats? You've sat on about 8 points since this campaign was called.
Well, this is what we are doing. This is what we're doing. This is
Not gathering support.
No. This is what we are doing through as well. You know, through a general election, the polls will go up and the polls will go down.
Well, yours haven't gone up. That's the problem.
We need an intelligent debate on immigration where people, on the one hand, recognise what the current rules
But the
are,
trouble is,
but
hang
also
on.
recognise what our economic needs are.
But we've got a day and a half to have an intelligent debate. That's the problem before people vote for one party or another. And the problem with the Labour Party is, and I would put it to you, with Jeremy Corbyn, is we don't know where he stands and whether he wants immigration to come down.
Well, I think
or
maybe,
up.
Steve,
We
you're just
don't
not
quite
paying
see-
attention, because
I've been
he's done
watching it
an
incredibly-
awful
believe me, I've
lot
been
more
watching
interviews and
incredibly closely.
debates during this campaign.
So what does he want to bring
and it's been put on the
immigration
spot.
down to?
Well, we think the Tory target is foolish.
No, I'm not asking what their target. I'm
so I'm
asking
saying
what-
we don't think that there should be a set target, because
Well, that's what I've just
the
said. We
Tories-
don't know what the numbers are.
Yeah, but it's because it's foolish to have a target like that. The Tories
But you said I
had-
wasn't watching closely,
The
but
Tories
I'm
had
asking
that
what the numbers
target.
are.
No, well, I'm saying that we don't have a number. That is not our policy to have
So
a number.
should
The
immigration
Tory-
go up or down?
The
at the
Tories
minute?
had an immigration target in their 2010 manifesto to reduce it to tens of thousands. They failed. They had it in 2015. They failed. And this is all under Theresa May's watch.
So is
So we think
immigration?
what we
Is
think
immigration?
is
Hold on. Is immigration good now? Is it okay? Are the numbers okay? Should we take in a few more, or should we take in less?
What you
What
need
is Labour's
is a
policy
system
on
that is responsive to the needs
But what's
of the
the
economy.
policy on that?
I've just said it. We need a system
Up,
that
down,
is
or stay where they are? It's a
because-
choice of three. Thanks to you at home as well for watching and for those watching online. Don't forget, join me tomorrow night at 7:30 for our debate that takes us right across the country. Among the guests, the very same George Ferguson that was mentioned earlier and Neil Hamilton, leader of UKIP in Wales. From all of us here, bye-bye for now. Bye-bye.